The Eat, Sleep, Fly, Fish Show.
Welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Fly, Fish podcast, episode like 8 or 9. I don't remember. I have to look and see. But we are here with the 2025 World Fly Fishing Youth Champion, Lawson Braun.
That's me.
Good to have you on board, man, or on the show anyway. And we also have old Robin Lewis.
Good. Nice to be here with you again.
The old hand, doing it again.
The old man at it again.
Yeah. But so let's start off by getting to know you, Lawson, a little bit. Like, how old are you right now?
I am 18 years old.
18. And you started fly fishing when?
I caught my first trout on fly when I was 11. 11 years old.
11 years
my
old.
first one.
And where was that?
In Cherokee, North Carolina, on Bunches Creek at Indian Creek Campground.
Wow. So we just did a podcast with Austin. His first fish was in Cherokee, on Ravensfork. So that's pretty crazy. And it's where you got your start too.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you and I could have started on Cherokee, maybe we'd be world champions or much better anglers.
Better than I am now.
We start on the wrong creeks, Robin. So cool. So how did you get into fly fishing?
My dad, he had always fly fished whenever I was growing up, so I finally nagged him enough to let me give it a shot.
Yeah.
That's how I got rolling. Yep.
And did you just used his fly rod?
Yep. Starting out, I was using an old 9'5" weight, the old bobber rigs.
Yeah. I think a lot of people start out with a 9'5" weight, right? You remember what kind of rod it was?
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably one they don't make anymore.
So when you caught that first fish, rainbow, I imagine.
Yep, it was a rainbow. It was actually on a dry.
On a dry.
On a dry.
Your first fish was
Wow.
on a dry.
Yep. That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, it's more impressive, I think, hearing he caught one on a dry, being only 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, nymphing when I was a kid was like everything was dry fly. Like, if you didn't caught a fish on a fly rod, it was on a dry. We weren't really nymphing a whole lot back then, but that's pretty cool. You remember what the fly was?
No, I can't remember. I'm sure it was some sort of Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Royal Coachman.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. Cherokee. You started out in Cherokee. And then, so you were hooked, right? You catch your first rainbow. And
Yeah, never stopped after then.
was it just fly fishing from there on out, or did you get into other kind of fishing?
And just fly fishing, pretty much. I geared everything towards it from then on out.
Now, you were living in Charlotte at the time, right?
Yep.
You guys, and a lot of trout streams in Charlotte, right?
And did some bass fishing to fill the time, but even then I was still trying to do it with a fly rod, trying to see if I could get the hang of it.
So when you and your dad would just have to go on a trip somewhere, right?
Yep, we always spent the weekends over near Cherokee somewhere.
Yeah.
Fishing like the West Fork of the Pigeon over in the Pisgah National Forest, or fishing the Ravens Fork in Cherokee.
Just camping, fishing, and yeah.
Living the life.
Now, so how did you get first introduced into competition, like hearing about it or wanting to explore it? Or
One of my old bosses, Gordon Vanderpool, he got me started into like Euro nymphing and like the competition style.
So Gordon was guiding, and you went on a guide trip with Gordon?
Yep.
Okay.
That was how it all got started. Dad had heard about him. He actually went on a trip with him and one of his clients before me. And then Gordon said, "You got a kid? Well, you should try it out and see if he's any good at it." Kind of thing. Yep. So we went with Gordon, and then from then on out, it was competition.
Now, I remember, I think, we had a team practice on the North Toe in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. And I think that's when you guys were when you first
That
came.
was my first team and everything. Old Brandon Harrison, he got me.
I was going to say, how did that happen?
Yep, he got me. I don't remember exactly how I met him, but Brandon Harrison's the one who brought me to the team.
Okay. He's like, come on out and practice with us. But I remember, was you at that?
No, I wasn't there. That was a little before my time.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A little bit before I got into the comp fishing.
So we was probably still a different team before F3 then.
Right.
Okay.
We were on the other team.
Okay.
I was comp fishing, but I wasn't on a team. I was just going and fishing.
Okay.
That's how I met you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you and your dad came, and I think we caught a lot of fish that day, if I remember right.
Caught me a nice 21-inch brown. I was ready to go after that.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's got the memory of an 18-year-old.
I know, 21-inch brown. Yeah.
On a practice session, you know.
And you were already, so Gordon was already, did Gordon start kind of working with you then pretty regularly, or?
Here and there, it was me and Dad still were keeping like the same kind of routine. We were going every weekend, so I fished a lot on my own and like developed my own kind of skills. And then I would go see Gordon or see Josh Miller and go fish with all those different coaches. And like they would see me maybe 4 times out throughout the year, and then just work on stuff they pointed out while I was gone.
Some clinics?
Clinics for sure. My first clinic I went to, I was 12, and went to Pennsylvania. Got started then. Then the next year went to North Carolina clinic, an Idaho clinic. So kind of got it rolling into the Team USA scene.
Do you remember who all was at that first practice?
For the
The first one where you guys came to
I know
North
Sean Isaacs was there. You were there. Peyton was there.
Brandon?
Brandon was there. I don't know if Jacob, he wasn't there. Allie Raymond, she might have been there.
Okay. It's just cool thinking back to that day, because I remember you guys showing up, and then you're like, okay, well, this kid's going to be the next world fly fishing champion. You know what I mean? That's just kind of cool thinking about that back then. You have no clue, you know, but the paths that we take, right?
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
You know, that's one of the things I always talk about, Lawson. You know, I remember when I first started hanging around with you guys, which was probably 2017-ish, 18, and, you know, Lawson's probably only been fishing a couple of years at that point, and just to look to see where he's going from then to now in just a short amount of time, I'm like, man, where did I miss the boat at, you know? But, yeah, but these youth anglers today, they're something special. I mean, they've got some good boys out there competing.
Well, it's very interesting for me to just what you're talking about, watching the progression, because, you know, they start out, they're just a kid, they're learning it, they struggle and learning how to rig and all that. And then one day, like, they win a tournament, and then you don't really see this next part, but one day they're kicking your hind end.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, what happened? You know, I mean, I've seen it with Noah Shapiro. I've seen it with Blake. Blake was always kind of fishy he just started out that way. And you, Lawson, and Peyton, I've seen it with all the kids. Lewis, you know, all since they were little kids. Mm-hmm. And then you don't know where, I can't really pinpoint when it happened, but just one day you're like, dang, what did they do?
They start standing on the podium, you're like, man alive.
and I've, you know, you're like, whatever it is, that's the secret sauce, right? Yeah. But I think what it is just time on the water.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Like, even, like, my biggest progression was when we had the opportunity to move to Waynesville. Like, my next thing I know, Cherokee's 30 minutes from my house, like, streams all around me. So I was fishing, like, I was putting over 200 days a year fishing. So,
and I bet you if you rewound the clock and if you did a time on them when all these kids really turned the crank, I bet it coincides with about 16 years old when they start getting that driver's license and permit, can go out on their own whenever they want.
Well, you know, just like Blake lives right there on the part of the Holston, and you got Justin Hardy that lives up there in PA right on all the water. I mean, you know, these kids are just, they got access to it and they take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's great.
Yeah. But now you've been exposed to a lot of different anglers, right? Like and cast instructors, like you worked with Max on.
That's what Mac Brown, like, when I realized how big lake angling was into it, I knew I had to cast, and I knew how to cast far with relative accuracy. And that's what Mac Brown, he got me rolling with, like, just a different style of casting that I wasn't used to. But it sent me from casting 50 or 60 feet to 100 feet. Yeah. In a matter of a day.
Anybody ever take you out on the lakes?
One guy with a little raft that we got blown around in a little while.
No, that's a lot of fun. Now, so at the youth clinics, like Paul Bork, you know?
So like Paul Bork, he was at my first North Carolina clinic. Paul Mack was there too. Gordon's there. Josh, all the guys. Like my first PA clinic we had, Josh was there. And Calvin, like all the older, like starting out team coaches.
Yeah.
Were there, and then it kind of morphed into Josh being the head coach. Then we had George Daniels for a little while. He helped like fine tune some of us in specific. Like we had Drew Bone and Noah on the team at the time. So like watching how he worked with certain kids, like you could apply it to yourself also.
So, I mean, you're naming some big names, you know, Paul Bork, Josh Miller, and George Daniel, all these guys. Who was the biggest, as far as a coach, who do you think, not counting your dad, your dad's probably your most important, but who do you think had the biggest impact on when you making that curve to where that led you to be a world champion?
I would probably say Josh Miller. He definitely, just because he kind of changed my perspective on it. Especially now, he's much more like in an innovative state. He's not necessarily looking just on how to catch as many fish as possible, but the fish that we miss, because everybody knows we go through and catch the easy fish first. And I think right now he's really focused on trying to figure out why we don't catch the other ones. Wow. And I think that helped me understand that I'm not the best like at catching all the fish, but I can start catching fish that people won't, and I'll beat them that way.
I remember hearing stories about Cam wanting to fish behind good anglers, just behind them to see if he could pick up fish behind really good anglers. And it wasn't long after that, I think he won a world championship too. So that's definitely a different skill level, right? Is going behind good anglers and catching fish.
When you start catching the same number as someone that's going through you or more, like that's when you kind of think you have something figured out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the fish will humble you all at once. Like right when you think you got it, they just throw a curveball at you. And I think that's important to have as many curveballs as you can.
That's true, because it stacks up. The experiences keep stacking up for sure. It's almost like think of a little bit like golf. You know, you go out and you shoot a great round, and you're like, I got this thing figured out. And then you go out the next time, and you're like, you play the worst you've ever played, and it just humbles you. You know, you're right back to, all right, I don't know anything. Yeah,
and that worst round on the 18th tee box, you hit the best drive of the day, and it's like, okay, I'll come back one more time.
Yeah, fishing's kind of the same way for sure. So now you were one of the. I mean, you would come into the clinics at a very young age and competed at a very young age. Were there any older youth anglers that you were really looking up to? And
I don't know that they were necessarily very older. Every clinic had changed. Like Cage, of course, he was around my age, but he's still a year or two older than me, so I was hanging out with him at all the clinics. And, like, believe it or not, Ben Brocious, like, the first clinic I was at, like, he was just a nice guy, so I hung out with him. Ryan Peck, he was only there for one clinic, but he knew a lot more than I did. So I learned, like, there's not necessarily one person, but I can have a lot of names.
Noah, he was kind of
like when I was going out west and stuff, I was seeing Noah, and so there was a lot of people that I started like getting little pieces of it.
Yeah, and Lewis, of course, he's older than you, right?
Yeah, me and old Larry, we hung out a lot. Like especially starting out in the team, like he got into it about the same time I did. He was a year or two older than me, but so we fished a lot.
So I think that's a key point. You know, Robin, you asked if there was any one person with a big influence, but I think having so many various good, and you could just pick up things from a lot of different. I mean, we're blessed with a lot of good anglers in this area. I think. Absolutely. I think West North Carolina, North Georgia, East Tennessee, and then the PA, there's a lot of really good anglers. I mean, there's a lot out west too. They're more spread out, you know, distance-wise from each other. Where here we're kind of close to each other and fish a lot. But I also say I've always felt like competition fishing is almost like a school. You know, it's almost like every year you compete is almost like another year of school. And you look back at your older self 2 or 3 years ago before you competed, and you're like, I've come a long way, right? And you've done a lot of we had the Southeastern Fly Fishing League. So you're having 2 to 3 clinics a year and all these competitions. I mean, like, you are shortening that learning curve fast.
And especially, like, everybody hates judging. And I did too, because I didn't want to have to watch somebody for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever it was. But you learn a lot from it.
Oh, yeah.
I think some of the things I've learned the most was judging really good anglers. Michael Bradley is one of them. I had the opportunity to judge him 2 different times or 3 different times in a rumble, and just watching how he managed the beat, his time.
Yeah.
And when you only scored 9 fish, you know, he's constantly calculating in his head, you know, those centimeters of what he thinks it's going to take to win it, and just watching those anglers, how they break down the water, how they use their time and beat management is just always very impressive to me.
Yeah.
To watch them.
I agree. You can learn a ton. And a lot of times, everything's in the finer details that you can't see a lot of times, too. And because I've heard a lot of people that judge really good anglers, and I'm like, what did he caught 42 in that. What did he do? I didn't see anything, man. He just, like, does what everybody – no. There's a lot more to it. You just might not have saw it because you didn't recognize. You didn't know, right? But definitely a lot more to it. Now, you competed, how many national championships have you fished in?
I fished in 3.
3.
I actually got put on the team without fishing a national championship. That's what me and Blake were the only 2 13-year-olds to ever be put on the team.
Was that because of the COVID?
We had the COVID year, and they thought, like, if we got on early, we would have more time to develop, like, being around the team guys.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you were one of the youngest folks to get on the world team, if I remember right. What was your first?
That's what so I got on when I was 13, and when I was 14, I got put on the world's team and fished my first worlds at 15.
And those national championships that you fished, and you said you fished in 3. Yeah. Where did you place in those?
My best is third. Actually, yeah. I've always been, like, in the top 5, but third.
Did you feel like did that get you frustrated, or do you feel good about it?
It's very frustrating, especially, like, I always go through a period where I'm burnt out, like, right after Worlds, because I'm like 4 months straight, I'm fishing almost every day. Yeah. I'm trying to get everything ready, and then right after it, I don't want to do anything with fishing. Like, I just want to go, like, live my life for a little bit, and then Nationals is there. So I never felt like I was at my peak. Yeah. And so it always bothered me that I never was, like, ready. Like, I never felt like I was quite ready enough for Nationals. Yeah. And so it's a little bit frustrating, but it's my own fault. So. Yeah.
Well, you know, you look at the field every year for Nationals, and you pick out, like, the anglers you think are going to win, and you always finished up there close, but it's like it was just, like, out of reach, and you're just like, man, it's just things just hadn't aligned, you know, I guess, like, with the beats and all that, or whatever it is, you know. But then you come up. Now, how many world championships have you fished in?
I fished in 4 worlds.
4 worlds, yeah. And you guys won the gold. How many?
We've won 3 in a row so far.
3 in a row.
Yeah, we got 4th in Italy, which is frustrating, and then we bounced back.
Now, why do you think you got 4th in Italy?
It was the same kind of thing. It was a weird. They gave people a COVID year, so we didn't know. Like, as a team, we didn't know exactly who to send. We could send, like, our older guys that would have a better chance at placing, or we could send a young team, and that's what we sent. Everybody that we knew was going to be able to come back next year, except for one. So, I mean, we were not quite as experienced as maybe we could have been, but I think it was more frustrating just because we knew that we should have still probably got 3rd, and so I think that drove us a little bit going into the next couple of years.
Do you remember who was on that team?
Yes. It was Joey Petit, Noah Shapiro, Drew Bone, Lewis Hurst was on there also, and then me. Yeah.
I mean, good team. Really good team. So what, did a switch flip or anything after that? Because everybody was frustrated.
Yeah, we definitely, like, the next year we paid a lot more attention. Like, I didn't, like, Italy made me so mad that I did quit for a little bit. I quit fishing, and then, like, George came around, he kind of whipped us all back into shape. And so I think having him there as well, like, helped everybody kind of focus towards it.
And how did he do that?
Really just calling us out, like in all seriousness. Like we had our meetings, and like he didn't hold anything back, and it's like tough love. Like sometimes you need it, and we definitely did. And that's what I remember. I hadn't seen George before, never met him, and we went to the North Carolina clinic, and he was like, it was his first clinic as coach, and he's like, "You're terrible." That's what he said. I was like, "All right." I was like, "That'll do." But
Thanks for letting me know.
yeah, but I think like after that, like I put the most time on the water I've ever had, probably.
It's good to have him kicking the.
Yeah, sometimes you just need it, and he gave it to me.
Well, I thought it. I remember talking to him at I think it was at the North Carolina clinic, and he's like, he had a different perspective as far as like wasting time, right? Like looking up in, he was. You had to be focused every second in getting the task done.
Yeah, for sure. That's what, like, especially going into worlds, like when I go to practice, like I'm there to practice. Like I'm not thinking about anything else. Like there's something I'm trying to achieve, and I have to achieve it. And that really helps when you have 3 hours. Like everything falls into 3 hours, and you have to be perfect.
I mean, you think about like he would like scratching your head.
Nah.
That's a waste of time.
Yeah, he was.
That focused.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's just about as hardcore as it gets, and that's what we needed at the time, for sure.
But you think about it, I mean, if you're going to be a world competitor, that's what it takes.
Details. The details.
It's in
right?
the details, exactly.
Yeah.
And I also think, like, in that time period, we had George for a fair bit of time, but not very long. He had some personal stuff come up, and we got brought in Josh. So we had basically the opposite end of the spectrums. Like, Josh is, like, a super nice guy, and he's not going to really push you into anything, where George was the opposite. Like, he's like, get in shape. Like, we got to get it going. And so I think having both at the same time, like, kept us from, like, resenting George in any way, like, because he was a little bit harder on us. So I think it did balance out.
Timing was good, right?
It ended up being just about perfect.
Yeah. So after Italy, you guys went
To Bosnia.
Bosnia, and you got a renewed focus. Who was on this team?
So me, Drew Bone, Noah, Blake was on there that year, and Max Logan.
And you guys brought home the gold.
Yep, brought home the gold. We almost had the individual sweep. Also, we had first, second, and I got fourth.
Very nice.
Yep. And then
That was a good run.
that was a good one. And then next year was even better, so we couldn't complain.
Yeah. And then the next year was
That was in Czech Republic.
Czech Republic, and you won another gold.
Another gold with an individual sweep, and everybody was in the top 7, pretty sure, individually.
Who all was on that team?
Cage, Max, Justin Hardy, Landon Cook, and Blake and me.
And in the third year,
Yep. Third year,
back home, right?
came back to Idaho Falls, and it was a different style worlds than we had seen. We had to walk a lot. That was a big difference. Like, we're hiking in, like the warm, I had to walk them.
You had to get used to fishing at home.
Right, yeah, that's what everybody was like. Well, you had like home advantage. Like, well, my home's 3,000 miles to the east, so I don't know where you guys are talking about, but.
Yeah, I saw some of the videos, some of the places you guys had to hike, and how some of the judges was late getting to the sessions because it was just such a treacherous and a long hike to get it.
Absolutely, like I got absolutely blessed on one of my beats. On the Henry's Fork, I got the bottom beat, which means I didn't have to walk that far. Yeah. And that's what, like, everybody who's anticipating the fishing not be as good, but I was fine with it because I didn't have to waste all the energy to walk another mile up the river. Yeah. So.
What do you do to get in the frame of mind to start competing in the World Championship? I got some more detailed questions about that, but I was just thinking about 3 months before. What do you start? What do you start doing to prepare yourself for that? I mean, obviously you've been 3 times the world, 4 times. Do you have a routine that you go through, or is it just kind of?
So I think it's like very environmentally, like, because. Like, Czech was very different from Idaho, of course. So I practice technique more than anything. Like, so if there's one thing I think I'm going to need for Czech, which was we did a lot of dry dropping and short tags, like knowing they may come up being dry, but we're using the dry drop to fish further from us was our main thing. And
Because the water's lower, clear.
It was the weirdest water that I'd ever seen. It was not clear to you, but to the fish, like if you would have put it in a cup, it would be crystal clear. But to us, it looked almost brown, like it was super tannicky. And it was kind of confusing to us, like trying to figure that out whenever we got there, because you could be standing right on top of where a fish was, thinking he can't see you, but he could see you, just couldn't see him. So we had to get used to fishing a little bit further away from us. And then like for this past Worlds, and I knew I was going to be double nymphing on the Henry's Fork. I knew I was going to be fishing a little bit heavier. I knew there was going to be a lot of water because it was like tail end of runoff. So I fished tail waters. Like I fished all of the big water I had. And knowing like the warm was what I'm used to in like that sense. Like I knew I didn't really need to practice towards that type of water, but I knew the Henry's Fork was going to be a game changer. I knew lakes were going to be a game changer. So I was catching, of course I don't have that many trout lakes, so I'm catching perch on lakes, but I had to do anything I could to practice, like to get ready. Big thing this year was lake flies. Like we hadn't really had to worry about lakes the past couple of years. Like Czech, we didn't have a lake. Bosnia, we only had one. And we had 2 boat sessions this year, so my lake box expanded greatly.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Well, individually, up to this point, before coming into the U.S. World Championships, what were your placings?
So I think I got 19th in Italy. I got 4th in Bosnia, and maybe 9th in Czech, and then 1 this year.
So was there frustration on that end from the individual side of things, or
More so after Bosnia, because I was like close enough, and the
4th?
like in my head I'm like, well, I should have gotten 3rd at least, and so I think that like individually that made me a little angry, I guess, and more driven. I got selected to be captain this year, so I tried to hold myself to a little bit higher standard than everybody else, but at the same time, they're my teammates, so they know, like me and Landon Cook have talked about it a lot, like expecting the same out of everybody.
I was wondering, because back to Robin's point of preparation, of like where you're getting like you've won some gold medals as a team in the World Championship, been very close in nationals, very close in the World Championship. Like you're getting ready, like what you're thinking, what do I need to crest the hill, right? And I was just wondering from a preparation standpoint.
That's like as far as preparation goes, I never felt like I had really prepared. Like that was like my downfall for the past 3 Worlds. Like I wait till the last minute. There's 5 days where I sleep 2 hours a day, and I'm tying, I'm fishing, I'm doing everything.
Because you're cramming. It's like cramming for an exam, right?
That's what the last like 4 months before this last Worlds. Like when I went to Worlds, I didn't have to tie any flies because I already had everything. Like I didn't have to. All my my brain was geared towards fishing and fishing only.
Yeah. And speaking of flies, how many flies did you guys carry? Each individual angler. How many flies did y'all carry?
So you can ask anybody. I carry way too many flies, and Landon makes fun of me for it all the time because he probably carries 500 at most, and I carry like 3,000.
Wow, 3,000 flies.
I have a fly shop. I don't think I have that many flies.
That's what in my river pack. I have 8 boxes.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Let me go back to the preparation. So when you're world champion and, you're going into that final day and you got maybe a session or 2 left and you're looking at the board and you're thinking, okay, if I do this, I do that, I got a chance at winning an individual gold. Yeah. What goes through your mind at that point? Are you just like, man, I got to do this. I got to make sure I don't do that. Or you just kind of brush it off and just like, I'm just going to go fish. I'm going to go do what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, for sure. You just have to go fish. Like you can't if you let yourself get psyched out, like I think you can make, while you're fishing, I used it to like push me just a little bit further. Like I always set a number in my head where I got to catch, say it's 15 fish an hour or whatever. And if I don't catch that, then that next hour I'm working a little bit harder. And it's not to the point where I'm nervous. Like I never get nervous while I'm fishing, but it's like just trying to, I need more out of myself is what I'm trying to get. But yeah, before my sessions, like I'm talking to my coaches and talking to like Jess and Josh these last couple of years, and like I'm calm beforehand. Like whenever I go, like everything tightens up a little bit, and I'm like I have to be focused, and I know that. So like while I'm fishing, my demeanor's a little bit different, but beforehand, like we're just normal people, we're just joking and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like, and maybe I'm wrong, but you said after, I think it was Bosnia, you almost quit, and maybe not as focused, a little frustrated. But I felt like before this last championship, you were fishing more. Like I noticed you were fishing a whole lot more, and I felt like you going into this championship was like you were almost peaking.
Yeah, it was 100%. I've never fished that much.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I was like, this preparation. I think you're underselling the preparation thing a little bit because you fish more than ever.
From September, I went and pre-fished it in September. Yeah. We had the men's regional out there, and I think I got 5th in that. So like I knew I felt like I had an understanding of the water, like knowing, like I'd seen everything already. So I had an idea of what I wanted to practice already. So from September to July, I fished like at least 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Like I was rolling.
See, I think a lot of people say, well, I want to be the best, right? Well, no, you don't, because you got to be willing to do the things that it takes to be the very best in the world, right? And not many people are willing to do that. And I heard a guy once say, if you're not willing to do what it takes to be the best, someone is. Someone is out there working harder, right?
Somebody's always going to work harder.
And all you have to marry in fly fishing is natural talent with work ethic. Mm-hmm. And there's another old saying that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? And if you're going to win a world championship or a national championship, you have to do both.
Yeah.
Because there's not a person naturally talented enough to just do it on talent alone, I don't think. Probably a local tournament or something, yeah, but not a world championship.
So he just said something that's made me think, and you kind of hit on it too. So he's doing stuff that people aren't willing to do. And I go back, I'm thinking about sacrifice, okay? He's fishing 5 days a week as a 17-year-old kid in high school, playing basketball. What kind of time is he sacrificing of his free time to put into that sport to go win to be a world champion?
Yeah.
And that says a lot there.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you're not willing to sacrifice your time to do it,
yeah,
to get better, somebody's always going to be out there working harder, just like you said.
Yeah.
We used when I coached girls over the years, we always told them, don't let anybody outwork you.
Yeah.
You be the
That's the one thing you can control. You can't control your talent level.
Right. You be the hardest working kid out there. It don't matter what you're doing. You be the hardest working kid.
Yeah.
And you'll be successful.
Yeah. And then being in shape, look at George. He's
running like
0 body fat, and he's ready to go at any time. Yeah, it's hard to imagine the level that it takes for world championship. I mean, it's just so crazy. Now let's talk about your individual, like your sessions, right? So your very first session and at the world championship was,
I was fishing Sheridan Lake.
Okay.
So
big brown trout, right?
No, we were fishing more like holdover rainbows.
Okay.
That's heavy on the other end. It has some big browns, but it was a little bit different setup. Like I said, this whole Worlds was a different setup than we were used to. So we actually fished at the same time as the women's Worlds, and we were on the lake with them. Okay. So we had youth boats and women's boat all in the same lake, and I knew where the fish were. Like we had scouted, we had talked to enough people, and I fished there already. Like I knew where they were. So I went to where they were, and I caught a couple early. Like I think I ended up catching 6 at the end of the session, which took a 1. But
now these are holdovers, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just pull a bunch of lures through there and catch them, right?
Right. They were a little bit. So I'd fished when they were first stocked, and now I'm going into when they were holdovers. So I slowed everything down. Like I went to smaller bugs. I went to lighter colored bugs.
When you say bugs, like what kind of bugs?
Like damsels. Fish a lot of damsels.
Okay.
Like olive. Like this light olive was probably my favorite. That's what I used the most of. I would fish. I'd have like a blackish brown kind of damsel, maybe in a shorter size. Most of the time unweightless or unweighted on my first tag. Mm-hmm. Then I'd go to something with a little bit of flash, but not crazy, like maybe like a blue flash damsel. And then my point fly would be kind of random things. I'd kind of spread it out, but that blue flash damsel ended up being my best fly. I caught I think I caught 4 on it, and then I had caught 2 fish, like just going off instinct. Like I'd fished where I wanted. You can kind of tell when you're lake fishing, like fish are moving out, like they're getting used to people being there. So we went a little deeper, and I like switched from a midge tip to a type 3 and picked up a few more.
Pressure was pushing them down, huh?
Yeah. And that's really, like, I don't have a ton of lake experience. Like, just, it's not something, I do like it, but it's just not something I, like, gear myself towards. And so I kind of had an idea what it looked like, but so when I saw it, I kind of knew what to do, but it was the first time I, like, truly seen it, and it was pretty cool.
And you caught 4?
I got 6.
6. And that give you a what?
That gave me 1.
Give you 1. Okay.
So I started out on fire, and that's what the whole team, these past 3 years, we're trying to beat our record. So I think in Bosnia we had 8 placing points, then we got 7. I think this year we got 6 on the first day.
Wow.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. That's every person taking a 1 or 2. A lot more 1s than 2s.
Right.
That's insane.
That's what we had 4 1s and a 2.
How many teams?
Like 10, somewhere around 10, yeah. I can't remember what there were this year.
So the next, you had a boat partner? Where was your boat partner from?
I had Slovenia with me first, I think.
How many you catch?
Or no, Poland. Poland was my first one, and then Slovakia was my second one. I think he got 3.
Really? Yeah. All right. You're definitely the top boat then.
Yeah, so like, I think he ended up taking a 3 or 4, and I don't know that we really did that much different. Like we were sharing information. I told him what I knew, and so he kind of let me control the boat, and I felt like I was very fair with how the boat was set up. Like I wasn't trying to cheat him out of anything. Like some people angle a boat so they can't fish there, but I didn't feel like we did that at all. Like we fished. There was one big grass flat and we were fishing little holes in it, and that's where I was like really gearing myself towards. And he could see everything I was doing. I could see everything he was doing, and it really wasn't that different. I think I saw more fish like further away, like in that top maybe 4 feet of water, and I think that helped me out like in the long run.
Did you looking for risers to locate your fish or no?
No, they were going through weeds, like so the weeds would move, and I could see the wake from the weeds.
Those youthful eyes.
Yeah.
There was one in particular. I saw the wake from the weed. Like I knew where we were going, and the weeds were all the way to the top. Like our road, we had to pull.
You just see the weeds moving.
And the weeds started moving, and then it kept moving. So I knew like there was more than one. You could kind of tell the direction, and I threw like 3 feet in front of it and caught one. Like as soon as I hit the water.
You think chironomids coming off in those weeds, or
I think damsels.
Water boat? Oh, damsels.
Damsels were coming crawling through. Yeah. And that's what like all my teammates seemed to catch them on like a blue flash, like the light olive kind of thing.
That is cool. So you're, I mean, the goal is for your boat to win. So why not share information? Now, did they supply the drogues and everything?
Yeah, they supplied drogues and everything. Yeah, we actually had someone rowing for us, which was a little bit like our team fought hard to not have someone rowing for us because we knew we could row fast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I can't remember the guy's name, but he did a really good job, like holding us in position and stuff. Sweet. Yeah. By the time we wore him out a little bit and had him reset us a bunch, so I had to row back, but he got us out there good.
Yeah. Awesome. So your second session is a river venue?
Yep. So we went. What did I do? I went lake, river, river. I think is how I went. Where did I
mess up your rhythm a little doing that?
It's weird. Yeah. It is like switching it up. I would rather kind of do both and get them knocked out of the way, but I think it just added to the competition a little bit more. Grays would have been my first. So like there was some crazy stuff going on. I couldn't find my beat. Like my judge didn't know where it was. I didn't know where it was. My international judge didn't know where it was.
That is panic right there.
Yeah, and it's session time. They gave us a cushion. Like I forget, I think it was like 20 minutes. And I did finally find it, but like very little scouted. Like I didn't scout my beat.
What does the cushion mean?
Like we had 20 minutes before. Like if we couldn't find our beat, we had 20 minutes to find it before the time would start. So it wasn't a hard start necessarily.
Oh, gotcha.
So they gave us a little grace.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and it totally worked out. We and then the weather went crazy during my session for some reason. It went it was about 75, like, and I was pouring sweat trying to find my beat. And then while I'm fishing, I'm probably an hour in, and it drops to about 40 and starts hailing and snowing on me. And I'm wet waiting, and I'm like have ice forming on my sleeves, and then all of a sudden, like 30 minutes later, it's gone, and it's back to 75. It's probably the weirdest weather I've ever had in my life. But
did the fish shut down?
so they did something I didn't. They got worried that we were going to get hurt because it was like thunderstorm and lightning. So they gave us they told us to stop fishing in the middle of our session. Like you have to stop for a minimum of 5 minutes. So. And I lucked out with it. Like I just broke off. Like when they told me to stop, so I was like, oh, perfect. I went back to the bank, it stopped, got everything all ready, made sure everything was perfect, and then went back and started fishing right after that. But that session was a little bit scary starting out because I went 30 minutes and I hadn't caught a fish. And then first fish was a cutty on a mop. I was throwing a mop around and finally found one. And then from there on, 2.5 hours, I was catching fish the whole time.
So was it the water type on the grays? Is it?
It was it was really clear water, and they had a lot more water pushing than we were used to. It's freestone, and it was like I said, tail end of runoff, and it wouldn't look like much water, but there was just a lot of volume.
Yeah.
Rushing through, and the same thing on the warm that we found out later. But yeah, the grays, ended up catching on some really heavy stuff. I was catching whitefish. That's what I was trying to catch, and I fished through one spot. I got, it was right in front of this little tree coming in the water, and I caught 6 out of the same pocket. I was like, well, there's a little school of whiteys. So I felt like I caught all those, and I left and moved right above them, and then I think I caught 10 without moving. And then fished there for a little while longer and moved up, found another hole, and it was mixed with cutties and whiteys, and I just had to kind of pick through. And I came down back to that hole where I'd caught 10 in my last 15 minutes, and I caught 5, and I think I hooked or dropped. They were all whitefish, and I think I dropped 20 in 5 minutes.
Did you? You said you were double nymphing?
Yeah, I double nymphed until the last 15 minutes because I didn't want to worry about tangle.
Right.
That was my biggest thing.
You had a couple of 2.5s, 3.0s. What?
I was rolling a 4.0 and a 3.5.
Heavy water then.
I knew I was trying to catch whitefish, and I wanted to see it, and I wanted to see it fast.
Yeah. Were you having to throw long distance to get them down there? Or?
Not anything out of the ordinary, but I would throw maybe 30. I'd have maybe 10 feet of fly line out, throwing up, and I'd let it sit on the water for just a second, and then come up tight. When I switched to single nymphing, I'd do a little version of a tuck cast to get it to go down quick.
Yeah. Was there a particular bug they liked then, or do you remember?
I caught them on a France fly, a carrot, and a hot tag.
Yeah.
Flies that I fished.
A lot of people fishing that carrot here lately.
Although a mop, I did catch some on a mop. Yeah. I caught whiteys on a mop and trout.
Is your carrot tied with light tan hare's ear?
I tied mine out of hare's ear and squirrel. I did both.
Oh, squirrel.
So I'd have a darker one and a lighter one. But yeah.
I actually still have a pack of dubbing that says Lawson Squirrel dubbing on it, where you shaved it.
I'm still making it.
In that hotel.
At the hotel in North Carolina.
Hey, what's wrong with that? Shaving a squirrel in the hotel lobby. It's perfectly natural. So you had enough fish to give you one as well?
Yeah, I think I caught 36. And after the first session, I'm always trying to catch more of my beat, and I think they had caught it was either 30 or 13, I can't remember.
Out of that beat?
Yeah, and I caught 36. So as long as I catch more than the person before me, I'm definitely happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that wasn't the first session?
No. Yeah, that was the second session.
Nice. Well, that's good.
And then you went back to the lake.
And then I went to Hebgen. Now, Hebgen is a hard lake, especially that time of year. All the fish were stacked up near the dam, and we were on the inlets. So we were on the opposite side of the lake that we needed to be. But we knew it was going to be cold front.
Is that where the giant brown pictures I saw? Okay.
Yeah, it's got big browns. It's all wild fish, wild rainbows and wild brown. I caught all my fish in the first 30 minutes. I caught 2 in the first 30 minutes.
That was it?
That was it. That's the only bites I had.
All it took. Yep. A lot of blanks in that session.
A lot of blanks, yeah. There was one thing that went on with people catching whitefish that weren't whitefish. That was a whole thing.
Was that the chubs?
That was the chubs that everybody talks about, yeah. The old Hebgen Lake chub debacle.
I was going to say, I've never caught a whitefish in a lake.
Yeah, they are there, and I know that you can catch them, but I was right beside them, so I know what happened. But that's beside the fact. I caught my first fish. It was like 55 centimeter brown. Like it was what Hebgen's known for. And I was happy. Like I was like, I caught one early and I was like, we're good to go. And next,
When you first got it on, were you like a nervous wreck?
yeah, absolutely. Like as soon as I hooked it, I was like, oh man, this better like don't do anything weird.
Yeah.
And like after I got him pinned, like once you get them hooked and like you're ready to fight them, I feel like everything goes away. Like once I'm fighting them, I know.
I was going to say, let me ask you this. Like when you're in a situation like that and you know you like every fish is like a placing point, do you fight it harder or do you take more, or do you relax more and try to take more time?
I definitely try to relax.
Okay.
And I feel like I might end up fighting a little bit slower, but I'm trying to like keep my normal pace, which I assume would always be a little bit slower than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely slowed down because I feel like if you horse them, they'll do weird things like that you're not used to, and I always want to see something I practice for.
Yeah.
So
And how did you catch him?
I was pulling a humongous and a damsel.
Gold or silver?
Silver. Silver is about that long. It was a big one.
That's a humongous.
Yeah, I was fishing it on my tag, and he came up and chased it and then ate my damsel.
Really? Yeah. So did you have that as your very top dropper?
We could only fish 2 flies in Hebgen.
Oh, okay.
Montana's 2 flies. So yeah, I used that as like kind of an attractor. And then probably, it was real close. Within 10 minutes, I caught my next fish and I threw out, and everybody who likes fish knows what happens when you throw, like you bomb one out. I threw it like all the way to my backing and then my fly line balled up. So I was sitting there picking it out and I was like counting as it was falling. So I roly poly to start to get tight, and I see a fish jump out of the water. I'm like, but I'm not even tight to my fly yet, so I'm like ripping it faster to see if it's on there, and sure enough, it was a rainbow. It ate it while I was sinking and jumped up out of the water with it and hooked itself, and then I ripped it in. But yeah, I ended up with a 3 behind the whitefish.
Did your boat partner catch anything?
He caught 1.
Did he? You caught 2, you said.
Yep, I caught 2.
How'd you catch the other one?
Those were the 2. The brown I caught, and then the rainbow
Oh, I got you.
as it was falling.
Wow.
And you wasn't even tight to the line.
Wasn't even tied to it. Yeah. Like my whole mindset there, like I've seen people when their fly line gets all tangled, like they try to pull everything back in. But I knew I was on the fish. Like if there were fish there, they were there. So I was like, maybe if I'll get lucky, and I did.
Wow. He was trying to shake it out. He ate it and felt that hook and was trying to get it out.
Yeah, and hooked himself.
And then back to the river.
Yep, back to the river. I had the Henry's Fork next. I got the bottom beat, which had not been doing good. But like I said, I didn't have to hike, so I was happy I had the bottom beat. And I felt like I knew the Henry's Fork well enough, like just from when I had been there. Like I kind of knew what was going on. It was a little bit dirty from runoff, so like dirty water kind of throws me off. I'm not a big fan of it.
Now, these wild fish you're going after?
Wild fish. There was a few whitefish that I wasn't expecting on catching, but I ended up finding, like I think I caught like 6 or something. My beat had been catching single digits, and so the first day.
Other beats were putting up a lot more?
No, not really. Like the numbers were kind of weird. So the first day, I think like around 25 won it. The next day, one person caught 20, and everybody else caught 12 and under. So I knew like if I caught 15, I was winning if I caught 15. And my beat had been catching like 5 to 9, it seemed like. And I went in and I caught 9 in the first 30 minutes. So I knew I was fine. Like I was I just was having fun at that point. Like I was having just like relaxed, like everything's gonna be all right kind of thing.
What kind of water and technique were you?
So I had this really big hole at the bottom of my beat, like the very bottom. And I could kind of see like the current was breaking and there was like just little seams and like broken apart, and it was bedrock. So it was like pieces of this like volcanic bedrock, and they were sitting in it. And I would throw outside the seam and not catch anything, but if I was in it, I was catching one. So I went and caught as many as I could have. I caught rainbows, like I was fishing lighter, like I was fishing a single 3.5, I'm pretty sure, starting out, and I caught them off like the first 3 feet of water, like it wasn't sinking at all, and I was catching them. I switched up to a single 4.0.
They were kind of suspended.
Yeah, and I switched up to a 4.0 to go like after I stopped catching them there. Worked down, I was still catching rainbows. They upped in size. I was catching bigger rainbows, and then I put on 2 flies. I put on 3.0 and a 3.5, and I was catching whitefish and rainbows. Although I did skip one fish. My first fish was a brown. I hadn't even stepped in the water yet. It was right, like there's one little seam right around a rock. I was like, let's see if something's in there. And first cast of the session, I caught one. But yeah.
Good start.
Yeah. So
Good start.
yeah, I was ready to go after that.
Now, what kind of bugs were you?
That was the same thing as the grays. I actually fished a sexy waltz, the silver beaded sexy waltz, but the carrot, the France fly, I try to worm.
Silver bead France?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A 4.0 silver beaded France.
Heavy water out west.
That's what it was big. And I ended up, like, the top half of my beat had, like, water I was used to. Like, I could only fish half the river most of the time because the other, like, the far bank was just too swift, and I would have had to swim to get it.
Do you think I mean, I know you don't get to judge like in other competitions, the other anglers, but do you feel like other countries maybe weren't fishing heavy enough?
Probably. Yeah. Like, I think the dirty water threw them off a little bit too. I think, like, having the prior knowledge moving in helped a little bit in that sense, but I feel like at the same time they probably figured it. Like, they would have almost had to have figured it out. Like, to not feel the bottom, or maybe they just weren't getting down fast enough. Like, they tried to get away with light stuff. I'm not sure, because I know I fished right where they were because it was right next to the bank. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's some pictures of me. I definitely got out there. I was wading out about neck deep. Like, my pack's full.
Neck deep.
And I'm sitting there like my arms are up, like I can't strip in line because my arms are under the water. But like, there's a tree floating behind me while I'm fishing. Yeah. But yeah, so it was something for sure.
So how many did you end up with?
I caught 20.
20. Wow. That's awesome. It took a one.
Yep.
So now you're sitting in first place.
Yeah.
Going into the last session.
Yep, last session. And like, the weird thing, like, I was really good friends with the South African in my group. And I was like, if there's one person that beats me this session, like, I want it to be him. And so we go through our session. Like, he was just a few beats below me, so he had like a mile, and I had like a mile and 3/4 or something to hike in. So I was talking to him on the way in. So I was like, good luck, whatever. We left him, go up, and my beat had caught. It was a decent beat. Like, I didn't know it. It was catching like 20, 25, and I think I ended on with 30 or 36, like somewhere in that range. And I think I caught 30, and then go back down, and the South African caught 32.
Oh, wow. Well, you willed that one out.
I was like, I shouldn't have said anything. That's what I get. But yeah, for sure.
So going into that last session, I mean, you took a one, you're that next to the last session, and you pretty much got it at that point. Mm-hmm. So if all you're thinking is, man, I just need to get this fish. Yeah. I mean, what was your mindset going into that? I'm thinking, man, I got a chance fixing here to be a world. I don't know what world champion. I'd probably freak out.
What you're asking is, were the nerves creeping in?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I knew if I took a 1, 2, or 3, I won. Like, there was no way I could lose. So I was like, I'm not going to get a 3. Yeah. So I
with the beat that you had.
Right. Like, I thought I was really confident. Yeah. So it definitely took some nerves away, like, after I figured out what beat I was on and all that. But at the same time, like, you still got to go do it. I didn't want to be too relaxed going into it and, like, just crap the bed. But I've
done that before.
Yeah. So in my head, I wanted to catch 25 because I knew if I caught 25, like, I was fine. And so, like, you always do the math in your head. You're like, well, I've caught this many in this many minutes, and I've got to keep doing it. Like, that's what I do the whole time. I'm just cycling through in my head. Yeah. And, like, it's just as I stayed on pace, then I passed pace, and I was fine. I knew I had to catch the fish out of the bottom half of my beat, and I had to get to him fast so I could come back and catch him later, and that's what I did.
I don't know if Dave was just being dramatic or not, but he kept, I don't know if he, like, all of my text messages, I was like, is he going to win it or not? I don't know. Let's see.
So he just didn't want to jinx it, but after the second day, I was going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as fly selection going into that, going into those river beats, of course, obviously on Henry's Fork, you knew you was going heavy because the water was, end of runoff and dirty. But, I mean, what makes your direction in your fly selection toward, other than experience?
Yeah, that's the big thing, like, seeing things I've already seen. Like, the warm was a little bit smaller. It still had the runoff pushing through it, but it was clear. Yeah. It was clear, and I'm used to clear. Like, if it's clear, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. But the dirty water, it threw me off just a little bit, so I had to go out of my comfort zone with, like, the real heavy bugs. And that's what I think people get stuck in their own comfort zone, like in comps especially, and they're scared to try something new because it's a comp. But sometimes you just got to go with it. That's what something always changes. Every world, something has been different, and that's what you just got to be okay with it.
pretty awesome to be sitting at a table with a world champion.
I know.
And for him to be on Team F3 on top of that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's even a bigger thing for
We
us.
taught him everything he knows, didn't we, Ron?
I don't know about that.
That's what I definitely was like blessed starting out. Like I had like all you guys fishing with like the amount of tournaments I was fishing. Like the Southeast League was at its peak basically.
Yeah. And
that's what I have a huge thanks for all those guys that don't even know it, but they all help throughout it all. That's what for sure.
Now you start Appalachian State.
I do.
Fall, right?
This coming fall,
Are you excited about that?
I guess.
What do you think? What do you think's in the future for you fishing wise?
I'm probably gonna take a little bit of a break, just like until I get school rolling. Basically, is what I'm thinking. Plus, I'm guiding through school also, so I'm still gonna be in the fishing world, I guess. But I need like a year probably before I get back into comps, just so I don't want to like put too much on me to start out and then burn myself out again.
Get grounded in your school.
If somebody's watching and so he's gonna be guiding in Boone, like how do they get in touch with you to learn some of the stuff?
You can find me on Instagram, like River Jedi, and send me a message, or I'm guiding through Sean Isaac's Big Fish Fly Co.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Sean's got some good private water over there he fishes. He's got some big old fish in it.
A lot of wild water over there, a lot
water
of
over
blue
there.
liners, and
Yes.
awesome fishing over there. That's where I went to school, so I spent
A lot of good fishing.
that was the best 7 years of my life over there. Getting my bachelor's at App State. Just kidding. No, it's a good place. Well, that's that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You got some bling you can show us.
Yeah, I can grab her. From the Campbells, our team parents sent us this belt buckle for
World champion Team USA.
team all got them.
Now, that may be the only belt buckle ever created with a trout on it.
There's a chance. There's a chance.
Very cool.
So yeah, that was.
You gonna wear that every day?
As soon as I get a belt for it, buddy, you best believe it.
I'm sure you already got the boots for it.
I got a few medals. Had to pack them up to get over here, but you can look through all the
Wow.
nothing but gold. That's how we like it.
Yeah.
But
You gonna hold them up the camera up over there.
you take the box.
Are those the golds from this past World Championship or what?
That's all four.
All four.
Yep, all four. See if we actually get them.
Gold, gold, gold.
Yep.
There's getting a good price for gold right now. You might want to melt those babies down.
Which camera you wanted to? Oh yeah. And on the back, everything's written on them. Tells you what they are. So, 20th, 21st, and 22nd, Cortland World Championships. Yep. And then what's hidden over there is my plaque.
Yeah.
But one last thing in here. This is the individual trophy. It's for this past year. Probably could have unwrapped it.
Oh, that is awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yep.
That is really cool.
That was a pretty sweet one.
Cuddy.
Oh yeah. Cut it first. Yep.
Well, Fly Fishing Team USA, the youth team, had a big run. What was it, like 12 through 15 or something, like 12 through 14?
Yeah, 12 through 14, I think.
Yeah.
So we were trying, like, in all seriousness, we were trying to beat them. And that's what we were kind of bummed about, like everything that's going on this year. Because we wanted to make, like, Paul Bork, he was the coach for those 3 years. And Josh is the coach for these 3 years. So we're like, well, we get him 4. And, like, he's better. That's the only way. Yeah. So that's the only thing that kind of bummed us out about it.
Is that the team they called the Dream Team back then with Mason
so.
Sims and those kids on it?
Gabe and
Cam.
Yeah. They won 3 straight, 3 gold medals.
They didn't call us a dream team, but we just did the same thing.
Well, awesome talking to you, man.
Sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lawson, I've had the pleasure to know you for several years, and it's great to see what you've grown up to be.
Well, and he's just getting started.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
a whole lot
he's,
more to come. Yeah,
Got the whole life ahead of him.
That's what I know. Me and Landon Cook, we both said we'd make a run in the men's team.
Well, hey, I've been telling everybody, I was like, with the way the youth team, the way the anglers fish, and the dominance they've had in the world championships.
Yep.
Like when they get on the adult team, like it's on.
They're gonna make an impact.
Yeah.
And, and you got a lot of these younger anglers on the men's team now. Austin Shoemaker and I think John
Still
Doe
some
made
real
a team,
young
and,
guys.
Brayton. You got a lot of these younger kids coming on, and they're gonna make an impact. They're gonna take some of the spots. I feel.
So we're getting pretty used to seeing gold.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start demanding it, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add or say? Or
I think I'm all good.
thank you, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good talking to you.
Yeah.